Welcome to Dark Corner's Star Wars Cash-In.
Our story begins in a time long, long ago.
And presumably in a galaxy far, far away. We're looking at the two TV spin-off movies featuring the Ewoks.
I sure hope this works.
Spoilers? It doesn't.
Not, I like them.
Well, you are the demographic.
I wish we had furry creatures like you where I came from.
A wish that George Lucas shared as he hoped the Ewoks would replace teddy bears. Of course, when these films were made, the legend's story by George Lucas was a mark of quality. Whereas now...
Trouble, big trouble.
Caravan of Courage follows a family stranded on the forest moon of Endor.
Where are those two?
While the parents are kidnapped by John Travolta in Battlefield Earth, the children, Mace and Cindel, meet a family of Ewoks who spend their days in hilarious slapstick routines with goats. And who take them in. They don't live up a tree. These are clearly trailer trash Ewoks.
These little bears are nuts.
They all set out to rescue the parents, who, for reasons passing understanding, the Gorax hasn't eaten. How big is the hole in their cage? Rescue yourselves, you lazy fuckers.
Hurry, hurry, let's get out of here, hurry!
Maybe they just wanted a break from the kids, especially Mace. The thought of going through a second movie with him is painful.
Mommy, Mace, they're dead.
Well, that's a relief, but it does make the whole first film kind of pointless.
What you're talking about?
Cindel's family are off to find new bad guys.
I have the power!
Leaving only her and Wicket, who can now speak English.
Goodbye?
How can goodbye not have come up previously? The other Ewoks are kidnapped. Wicket and Cindel must rescue them.
If we don't help them, they're gonna die.
Although it doesn't seem to be top of their to-do list,
If nobody lives here anymore, we can clean up and this could be our house.
even though they are now aided by Santa Claus,
Tell me about your mother. What do you remember about her that makes you happy?
who apparently holidays on the forest moon of Endor.
Go on!
I say that, but to be honest, this is a very different place to the one we see in Return of the Jedi. I remember when all this was forest.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, it's very different to Star Wars generally. It's far more like one of those 80s movies in which kids from the real world end up in a fantasy land. There are castles, Tinkerbell, and magic. Lots of magic.
So what, it turned into a lizard, big deal.
Way too much magic.
Wicket receives a magic walking stick.
I'm sure he's thrilled.
I don't know anything about magic.
It's not fair to judge these against the original trilogy.
I think he understands.
They're on a TV budget, and despite the presence of ILM luminaries Dennis Muren and Phil Tippett, the effects are pretty low rent. As is the script.
What is that? It looks like a monster or something real big. Where is it?
And the general scale of ambition.
That's not a Starcruiser. That's a horse.
But if it's set in that world, it needs to be that world.
I don't care about that.
This isn't even the same universe.
I know that now. I guess I've known it a long, long time.
The standard argument is it's for kids, but where have we heard that before? George, kids are smarter than this. They deserve better than this.
How dare you suggest that I am to blame?
As entries in the Star Wars canon, these films just don't work.
Makes me feel sad.
Me too. But the really bad news is that just as movies, they're still pretty poor. Although, they do provide an interesting contrast to a classic moment in the original film. See? That's what happens when you don't shoot first.
Check out the latest Horror Smackdown contest. Don't forget to subscribe for a new bad movie review every Tuesday. Thanks for watching.
Opa! Opa!